Perfect. Well, welcome everybody. Thank y'all for joining us today. We are so happy to have y'all out. My name is Julie Gaona, and I'm the Chapter Engagement Manager here at Foundation Fighting Blindness. We have some great speakers here with us today, and I just want to thank everybody on this call for, spending your Saturday morning with us. I know it's a bit rainy outside, so it seems like the perfect morning to hop on here and get some more information. So I will get us started here with some information about kind of the chapter and what we do. I'll introduce, we have our chapter president and vice president on the call. They will give a little introduction, and then I'll kick it off at our speakers, and then we'll go on from there. So welcome. Like I said, my name is Julie Gaona, and I am a chapter engagement manager for Foundation Fighting Blindness, actually based here in Dallas, Texas. So it's so great to have the Metroplex here on this morning. A little bit about the foundation. So we are the largest private funder of retinal degenerative disease research in the world. We've raised over $816 million.
Wow.
It is fantastic, and we are just doing so much more, and it's thanks to the great community like this. We are research funded, and we do the entire spectrum of inherited retinal diseases, which is just fantastic. Like I said, it's thanks to the local resources, the local research going on. So very happy to have everybody on today. Our vision is to bring a community together to end blinding diseases, and our three main area focuses are education, resource, and revenue. We share the largest advancements of research with our local communities. We provide access to local resources like those on the call today. And then we are accelerating our mission by participating in fundraising events, which I'm a little excited to talk about. We have one coming up soon here. And then there's plenty of ways to get involved. If you're interested, you can become a volunteer. There's donating. You can participate. We actually have a national webinar coming up on Saturday, March 19th, and it is all virtual, so I can send out the link to register if you want. And then we do have our Dallas-Fort Worth Vision Walk on Saturday, March 26th. So 2 weeks away. We were talking about it earlier. If you come out and walk, we may treat you to some donuts. And hey, who doesn't love a good donut on a Saturday morning? And then next, so our chapter leadership. So today on our call, I'm super excited to announce that we have our president, Neva Fairchild, and our vice president, Suzanne Cadan. Neva, would you mind sharing a few words really quickly?
Good morning, everybody, and let me second Julie's welcome to all of you. I love sharing resources. That's what I have done as a rehabilitation professional for over 30 years, and it's what brings me joy. So my part in Foundation Fighting Blindness is really based on sharing resources and helping people realize that losing vision at whatever time in life does not mean an end to life. It means that you need to learn some things to do things differently. You need to get connected to some resources and some programs, and then you keep on doing what you love to do. I also am intrigued by the research component of Foundation Fighting Blindness because I have cone rod degeneration, and so does my daughter. And I believe that the research that the Foundation Fighting Blindness is going to find a cure. There is a cure in sight, and it may not be in my lifetime. I pray that it's in my daughter's lifetime, and if not hers, then future generations will benefit from what we're doing today. And I believe someday that vision rehabilitation specialists like me will be out of a job, and that's okay with me. Thank you so much, Julie, and again, welcome.
Thank you, Neva. Thank you for those great words. And Suzanne, would you like to say a little something?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here today. I think this is a fantastic venue to talk about research, resources, and outreach. I think the Foundation for Fighting Blindness has done a fantastic job since it first began in terms of education and really highlighting some of the challenges in retina research, and it's really certainly advanced the agenda from a research perspective. My background is I've been in the pharmaceutical and medical products industry for almost 30 years now. It's been an exciting time in terms of many different technologies that we've seen come forward, and also how we're doing things to bring products forward a lot faster than we used to. I currently work for Alcon, which is an ophthalmology-based company, but I've previously been involved in retinal research for QLT. I've worked in clinical trial research. I've worked with FDA as well as international regulators. And I think it's been a very exciting time because everyone involved in this area has had to really challenge how we do things, how we work with patient groups and the community in terms of getting products available to patients a lot faster. And so I think we've all been a lot more creative than we've ever had to be. I think this is a fantastic organization. And as Neva said, I think it would be great if we're all out of a job in a couple of years. So I look forward to today's discussion, and great to meet you all.
Thank you, Suzanne. I mean, Suzanne and Neva are truly wonderful. And if you're ever interested in learning more about being a chapter leader or just getting connected with either of them, please let me know. That is what we're here for, and we're excited to expand our chapter leadership. And then give me 1 second. And I'm not sure if Ashley is on the call quite yet. If not, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about our 15th annual Dallas-Fort Worth Vision Walk. So that will be coming up on Saturday, March 26th at Reverton Park in Dallas, Texas. It is a 9 a.m. registration and then 10 a.m. stage presentation, and then we will get kicked off. So our goals this year are to raise $65,000, recruit 20 teams, and bring out 300 walkers. So whether you can donate or just want to walk, please join us. As we said, it's going to be so great. And I believe this is our first walk back in 3 years. So we're super excited to be back in person and hope that you can make it out. Just a little bit of details. It's no cost to register or walk. So either just, register online, show up the day of. We're super excited to get you out there. Individuals who raise over $1,000 are called our All-Stars, and they will receive a medal day of and get website recognition. So please feel free to register today. In the recap email that I'll send out Monday, I'll include the registration link. And I really hope we get to see you out. Like I said, it's our first time back and we're super excited to just be out, enjoy some nice weather and enjoy some great company to raise money. So thank you all for listening to my spiel. I feel like I always talk a lot and I'm just always ready to hand it over. As I said, we have some absolutely fantastic speakers today. We will do a Q&A portion at the end. So if you have any questions, you can please feel free to put them in the chat or ask them later. I will be monitoring the chat. So if there's anything that pops up throughout, we'll go ahead and pull it up at the end. But I'm excited to get us kicked off. And our first speaker is going to be Blake Lindsay with Envision Dallas. Blake, the floor is yours.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Julie. I loved having Foundation Fighting Blindness to come out to Envision Dallas here recently, and we had a very good time with you. And I love that walk that I was a part of. I guess it's been 5 years, something like that. But anyway, I want to just begin by letting everybody know how excited I am about Envision Dallas. It's pretty incredible because I got there around 12 years ago, and my goal was to be there for 3 years. I thought I'm going to help these guys rebrand because I knew that the 50s through the 80s, that place was doing great. And on into the 90s a little bit, but they kind of lost their way. I got there in 2009, and they needed help, and a lot of it. So I hung out there, and about 8 years ago, I met Michael Manafrani up in Wichita, and he is the CEO, of course, of Envision. And he and I hit it off for whatever reason. We just really got along well. And Michael knew that I wanted Dallas to do well, and he was actually living in Dallas for 5 years. And ran a company where they sold fleets of buses. He worked with DART and a lot of great companies. And so Michael and I got together, and I finally introduced him to Hugh McElroy. And that was an incredible introduction, like I knew it would be, because Hugh really wanted Dallas to turn around. And he was a great guy, very smart. He'd done a lot of good business, but he didn't have much to work with. By the time he got there, we didn't have any money left. So Michael came on board. We got together. I knew we were going to partner with Envision, but I certainly did not know that they were going to acquire us. And I was delighted when that occurred here, May 1st of 18. Wow, we're coming up on 4 years already. And I tell you, things started happening. The first year was kind of tough because we weren't used to being pushed so hard by Envision. But before long, we realized that they were on the same mission we were on, and they were just ready to get aggressive and see it happen. And it certainly has. They hired David Stupe. He's our executive director, and David and I get along real well. He's been there for a little over 2 years. He's a very young, vibrant. He's only 41 years old, but the guy's a genius when it comes to business. And he's run a lot of nonprofits and for-profits and just done a good job relating with people who are blind and visually impaired. And we recently hired Mary Alexander. You might know Cooper a little bit, some of you. He's 26 years old and blind and going through college. And Mary Alexander and I agreed that it was time to get somebody who could relate with people who are blind to be over services for a change. You would think that that would have happened years ago, but now that it's happened, some great things have happened. First of all, AFB, you know, we've got a good partnership with AFB that Neva knows about very well. We've got Esther's Place now, and that is something that has fit in very well with Envision Dallas. And the people with Foundation Fighting Blindness really enjoyed seeing all the tools and just a real nice modern place. But our employment and workforce development has just taken off here in the last 2 years. And I got to recruit 16 people last year who love their jobs. We're usually starting people out around $9.50 an hour, all the way to, you know, some people can make $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 in our call center. I'll talk about in a moment, but really, you know, people that are on SSDI are able to supplement that very well now, and tons of benefits. Most people are making, you know, $13, $14 an hour. We got some substantial increases last year in hourly, and so we brought that up. But I tell you that the workforce is really going strong. We haven't laid anybody off now in well over 2 years. I guess it's been over 3, but we got 16 new people who love their jobs, and they're even transferring people from different places to move to the Dallas area. They're paying for their move. There's an incredible family, Keela and Ed, that I know real well from West Virginia, and they're just having the best time. They actually got a place that's only 50 yards away from Envision Dallas, and we're going to be moving. I want to let you know about this. We're going to Farmers Branch here in 17 months at 635 and 35. It's a huge building where AT&T used to be, built in 1988. It's 210,000 square feet. Where we currently house is 90,000 square feet. So obviously a huge increase. We'll be able to house everything under one roof. And it's just a really huge, it sounds like a gymnasium when you walk in there. But anyway, the thing that I want to let you know today, if you know any people who are blind and visually impaired who need work, I'm looking for 70 new people in the next 11 months. I know it sounds incredible, but between the call center and all the manufacturing that we have going today, we need people. And I'm running out. I'm about ready to go down to Austin and recruit, because you got Texas, blind and visually impaired down there with Chris Cole, but Texas for the blind and visually impaired, obviously, people graduating. And I love to go down there and really motivate people about getting into the workforce, unless they're getting into higher education, which is also a good call if you know what you want to do. You know, if you've got a desired occupation that you feel like you're going to be able to make a meaningful impact with, and I always encourage that. I'm a junior college guy. I've always been a broadcaster all of my life, and so I'm able to evolve those communication skills in exciting people about what people who are blind and visually impaired can accomplish. It's just been a great place. It envisioned for me to be able to meet people losing their sight later in life and seeing their lives turn around when they feel so discouraged and they feel like there's nothing I'm going to be able to do anymore. And they realize just in a moment, it seems like, 6 to 24 months, depending on the person's attitude. But I have seen a lot of 180s in people's attitude, turning around and realizing, man, there's a lot of camaraderie here. I'm making new friends. There's jobs. And the average life tenure of somebody at Envision Dallas is usually around 18 years that they get to stay and have a full-time opportunity. I remember back in the early 90s when they were paying piece pay and people were making, I don't know, a couple of bucks an hour. And it's great that, we've been paying above minimum wage for a long time, but 40 hours a week with benefits, including insurance, 401k match. They get an excellent match. And it's just a very desirable place to work. And I almost can't believe I'm saying that, because for several years we were not. And people badmouth us quite a bit. But I think that when people are reintroduced to the brand new Envision Dallas, and the enthusiasm going on there, but also the desired workforce to be had who are blind and visually impaired. We need 70 new people in the next 11 months. And I didn't used to be able to say that. I remember several layoffs and they would bring people back. But now we've not had layoffs, like I mentioned, in a long time. But between Esther's Place, we've got a college education program now that's going to help people to really fulfill their dream with college. And only around 15% of people who actually enter college who are blind or visually impaired actually graduate. I learned that in the last couple of months, and it really surprised me a lot. And so we certainly hope to change those numbers big time. And we've got Mary Alexander to really pump up that program, but she's got a lot of great mentors. And so if you know anybody that is entering college, let me know about that, and we will get them plugged in. That's going to be a great program. Orientation and mobility, we're getting ready to hire an instructor. Occupational therapy, we're getting back into that. And so we're hiring people. We're hiring a lot of people right now and in the areas that we need. And so you can say Dallas Lighthouse is back, in a lot of ways, but Envision Dallas is kind of a brand new form of it. And we're going to take independent living to a much higher level. That used to be strong in the 50s through the 80s with Dallas Lighthouse for the Blind with the apartments, I should say. There were several of them, and they would do summer programs and things. And I know Bobby told me a lot of times how Dallas Lighthouse used to be. And it was good news back then, but it's better news now because we're bringing a lot of things back and we're going to expand on those things. But the apartment over at Esther's Place is going to be used now for, people coming in and learning how to use those tools and how to make a difference in their lives. So I just want to encourage you to come by Envision Dallas. If you've not been there in a while, I'll take you through. I get to take people through nearly every day. We've had a lot of congressmen come through now, and I had Senator Ted Cruz last summer, August 18th. That was my birthday present. My birthday was on the 21st. And I thought, man, I always want to meet Ted Cruz. He gets it said. But he was just blown away seeing the camaraderie and all the various projects that we do for the military. But we've also got a lot of commercial projects now. We're going to be taking the 311 calls in our call center. That's the most expanded area of the call center. We're working with the Better Business Bureau to get businesses credited. But we also sell through the advertising venue. We've got a CCD campaign going on right now that's going very well. It's about a 15, 20-minute survey. I don't know how these guys do it, but they're doing incredibly well, people who are blind and visually impaired. So we now have a 50-seat call center that's going to be a 100-seat call center in a year and a half. But right now we've got 50 places for those folks upstairs, totally renovated, just a real nice area. It used to kind of smell bad, when you walked in the old Dallas Lighthouse. Now it smells good. It's clean. It's renovated. I encourage you to come by. My name's Blake. If you can give me a call at 214-420-9411, I'll set you up for a tour, get you through there, and you can see the great things happening at Envision Dallas. Thank you, everybody. Look forward to answering any questions you have, too, after a while.
Thank you, Blake. It is so exciting to hear the expansion y'all are going through and all the people y'all are hiring. And if you did not get his number, don't worry. I will send it out on Monday, so you will have it. And we do actually have a quick question. It's from Michael. He asked, are any of the call center jobs remote?
Got a lot of call center jobs open. Yes. Is that what your question was?
If they're remote positions. So I'm assuming
not
working
yet, but we're working on that. We're actually working on that with a few projects that we're doing. But right now, everybody comes in and there's a whole lot of camaraderie there. So I can see why they encourage people to come in. But if you're out of the 13-member cities of DART, I get it. You definitely want to work from home on that note. But we're getting there. Probably in the next 6 months, that's going to happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Blake, for your time and information today. It was all fantastic. Up next, we have Bobby Lakey with Crystal Vision.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Bobby Lakey. I have a inflated title that I like, but it is with a very small company overall. But I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Crystal Vision. And when I learned and I saw the agenda for today's meeting, my first concern about being a part of this was that I saw that I was going to be following up Blake. And regardless of what he says, it's how Blake says it. As a long-term professional voice around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, hard act to follow him immediately. So a country boy from Bonham, Texas, will give it a shot. Just to kind of reaffirm what Blake was saying, over the last 17 years, I've worked for companies that had me covering a 9-state area. And I've been to Envision up in Wichita, Kansas, many, many times. And it has been always an extremely well run, extremely well funded, great organization. And as he said, my first job out of college, and actually an internship that I did while I was in college, was at the Dallas Lighthouse for the Blind in the early 90s. And it as he said, it hit a period of time where leadership was challenging, et cetera, but definitely hearing lots of good things. So we hope to be partnering with them and looking forward to seeing what happens there at Envision in the months and years to come. Now about Crystal Vision. Crystal Vision is a sales and service company. We sell assistive technology products for people who are blind or visually impaired. And we represent about 20 of the manufacturers or so that manufacture products in the US and globally for people who are blind or visually impaired. And our criteria for representing those manufacturers are that they produce a quality product with a reasonable amount of innovations, but primarily a great deal of support. And that support comes from basically, once you get beyond us as your local distributor, and we have over 200 years of experience on the sales team that we have and in the company in general. However, we are, because of the quantity of products, kind of being somewhat of a one-stop shop for a wide variety of dozens of assistive technology products. We can only be, no matter how hard we want to try, we can only be generalists, basically generalist experts, if you could call it such a thing. So we only represent manufacturers that once the weeds get a little too tall for us, we're able to reach out to them, and through their technical support teams, their product development folks, even all up to their leadership within their companies, that they're going to reach out and support us in being able to support our customers and end users. Okay. So we definitely focus on that as a company. In the 17 years that I've been involved with Crystal Vision, either for a while as a manufacturer rep and now as an employee, we've grown from not quite Envision level, but we've grown from, back then it was Crystal Vision was 2 employees, and now we're at about a dozen. Just on the sales and support team, we have a person in Fort Worth, Chip Lanning. We have Jack Hickman in Carrollton. We have Mark Matthews in the North Greater Houston area. We have Carl Brunig in the Katy area. They both cover the Greater Houston area and all the way down into Corpus and South Texas. Our office is based in San Antonio, Texas, and we have about 5 employees there that cover that. I, as the sales manager, I cover the entire state of Texas, and all of my team have certain accounts and certain customers that they focus on. And then I go out and support and bring in resources as needed. For Envision Dallas, for example, we have Chip and Jack both cover that account, but on any items outside of just sales and service, that's when I would get involved. Some of our major brands of products have to do with Vispero, which is the now parent company that, through the investments of Vector Capital out in San Francisco, they purchased Freedom Scientific, Optelec, Enhanced Vision, AI Squared, and some other brands that you recognize. They also have a very extensive service side that goes out and helps companies develop more accessible websites. And that's called the Paciello Group, TPG, as all part of Vispero. We also represent Humanware, and they've been around for, 40 years or so. They're a great company and really doing some incredibly innovative things with their products and integrating a lot of mainstream technology made accessible, which has always been a kind of a theme of mine that I like to promote. And they've just done some great things. We also represent LVI America and the products for low vision that they distribute. And the list could go on and on. And we've also recently, we are a distributor of the Orcam products, so they're pretty popular. Been as far as on Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, and lots of promotion there, et cetera. And that's a product that we certainly still represent. We've got a new product in that category they're called the Envision glasses. It's not related to Envision, but it's an app called Envision, and they have paired that with some Google glasses that's doing a fantastic job as far as wearables. So just in broad categories, if people are looking for solutions, and Neva and I used to work together what has become many years ago now, surprisingly, as being employment and technology consultants for what was back then the Texas Commission for the Blind, and then eventually DARS. And so I've always tried to be, as a salesperson, I've always tried to be a solutions-based or a consultant-based salesperson. And my team that I manage, they all follow that as well. We try to never be any perceived as a pressure-based sales company by any means, and we're just here to support Texans who are blind or visually impaired, and that's a big goal of ours. In just the categories of technologies as those solutions, we still carry a wide range of desktop video magnifiers, and those are the CCTVs is what they used to be called. But if you look up CCTV now on the internet, you basically see a great deal of security technology. So in the industry, it's kind of been changed to be called video technology or video magnification. And so we carry quite a few desktop units that just sit on the desktop. We carry a variety of units that can fold up and be carried around, but still give you, a pretty good sized screen, all the way down to portable devices that can be called handheld, all the way up to just portable, that range from a 4.3-inch screen up to nowadays a 12-inch screen. The desktops are usually up in the 16 to 24-inch range. We've had kind of a boom lately of wearable video magnifiers, so a CCTV that you would wear kind of like you might a headlamp or what have you. We have various brands of those that we can best match up. Some connect directly to a television, some have OCR built into them, some are using virtual reality glasses, some are using augmented reality glasses. We have through eSight, through representing them, we have a brand or a product that's coming that's going to look closer to just a regular pair of glasses that will probably be able to serve people with 20/80 to 20/200, maybe 300 vision. We'll have to see what the final product is like. We carry all the text-to-speech products like the Orcam, like the desktop text-to-speech products, just a variety in that range that are either a desktop or even small enough that you can just carry them in your pocket and be able to point and click and have text read to you for people who are blind, low vision, or dyslexic. We represent, I believe, all of the manufacturers of Braille embossers that are out there. So if Braille production all the way from an individual level with something called a Braille Buddy, all the way up to very, very high production Braille embossing products, et cetera. We're here to sell those, to configure those systems, to set them up, to support them, et cetera. We have the full range of Braille displays, as far as we represent several of the major Braille displays and the most common Braille displays that we see out there. We also carry the note takers, the Braille Note Touch Plus from Humanware, and L Braille from Vispero, and even the Braille displays nowadays a lot of the Braille displays nowadays are functioning at a level that are kind of like the note takers were 20 years ago. So they don't do email, et cetera, but they do a lot of things as far as being able to download books from Bookshare and other organizations, or being able to create take notes basically through word processing files, and being able to manage those files and import those out to all the different major platforms. And most everything we represent now are able to pair. If they do pair with things, if they're not standalone, they'll pair with Windows computers running a screen reader. They'll pair with Mac. They'll pair with all the iOS products and Android products, and also Chrome. So as a company that has a lot going on, that's about the best way I could figure out how to summarize it this morning. I didn't want to get into just any specific products, but if you would like to reach me, and I'm happy to spend plenty of time with you on the phone, just talking about solutions, talking about what might be the best match. You can do that at my number is 469-360-1143. And then one of the changes that I made when I came on board, instead of people using their own, because we are a small company, their own personal emails, we did create now to where if you need to reach out to Chip, Jack, Mark, Carl, etc., or Bobby, then you can do that just by typing our first name at Crystal, and Crystal is spelled like Christ with an AL on the end of it. So crystal-vision.com. And we greatly appreciate the opportunity to be here to talk with you guys today. And any way that we can serve you in the future, please reach out to us. And thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. I mean, it is amazing to hear all who you are working with and all the different organizations. I mean, that is just absolutely fantastic. And thank you for telling us a little bit about what y'all do at Crystal Vision. We're happy to have you this morning. And just to repeat, if you didn't get his information, do not hesitate. It will be sent out because we want to make sure you're able to connect with everybody who was on the call today. So thank you, Bobby.
You're very welcome. And Blake, if you ever want to do a contract with me on some voice coaching, you just let me know, okay?
You did great. Next, we have Holly McKnight with the National Federation of the Blind Arlington chapter. Holly, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You never know if it's muted or not. I spend more time with a mute button. Thank you for inviting me to spend part of the day with you guys. It's nice to see some folks that I'm familiar with, Bobby, Neva. And I'm also very glad to have found Esther's place, because when it was at AFB, I actually got to give tours of it. So I'm glad it is still around. I have been a member of the National Federation of the Blind, which is the largest consumer group, if you will, of blind people in the world since 1992. I have served my chapter as president, vice president, and a board member. I have also gotten to, one of the things that the Federation does every February is we go and take 3 or 4 pieces of legislation to Congress, and I have gotten to do that 6 times. The last 2 years, unfortunately, we've had to be virtual. And of course, this year, I looked at the weather forecast and temperatures were in the 40s, and I was like, I could deal with that. I've been up there when they were in the 20s, but virtual it was. Arlington kind of gets left out of a lot of things because we are a large city, but we're in between Dallas and Fort Worth. We this year do have a very vibrant NFB chapter. We meet on the 3rd Saturday of each month, which actually is next week, from 1 to 3 p.m. And I'm going to give you a lot of numbers, but we meet at Lake Church in Arlington, which is located at 2912 Little Road in Arlington, in room 100 in the main part of the church. And this coming Saturday, our state president, Norma Crosby, will be joining us. And we are in the process of rewriting our Constitution. So if governmental affairs and things like that interest you, I have your meeting. So one of the other things that NFB has that I think is just really, really cool. Before I get into that, we do have a chapter Facebook page. And that can be found at facebook.com/NFB-ArlingtonTX. And then, of course, also, if you just wanted to look at the NFB website, that is nfbtx.org. And you will find our chapter email and phone number there. We do have a phone number that is answered. But one of the main things that NFB does that I really like is a service called NFB Newsline. And Newsline is a free audio service that does newspapers, TV listings, which I know for me, yes, DirecTV is wonderful, except for the fact that those guides may or may not be read out loud. So you can use Newsline to search that. It also reads the Target Circular and a couple of others. And also, one of the things, as we're getting into spring in Texas, one of the things that it reads is weather alerts. So apparently Dallas-Fort Worth is about to get hammered again with snow or something next week. I'm not excited about this. So Newsline is a great way to find things. I want to also give you guys the national phone number to our national headquarters, which is in Baltimore, Maryland. That is 410-659-9314 is our national number. And then Texas is 281-968-7733. And I will be completely happy to answer any questions that anyone has about meetings or programming or any of those types of things.
Thank you, Holly. That was such good information. Thank you for letting us know when you meet. That way, if anybody on this call is interested, please join. I mean, that's super great. And I have those numbers written down for the national and Texas. So thank you, Holly, for joining us this morning and telling us a little bit more about NFB.
If you will just give me 2 seconds, I will look up our chapter phone number. I have it on my iPad, but I'm going to turn on voice over here for a second.
No worries. Yes, we will give you a second to look that up because that would be perfect.
510-325.
Okay, that number is 682-251-0325, and that will go to our chapter directly, and it's actually our chapter president answers that, and her name is Jody Desmond.
Jody, perfect. Well, I will be sure to include this number. That way, if anybody's interested about joining their monthly leadership meeting, you're able to. And thank you again, Holly, for sharing some information this morning.
Thanks for letting me be here.
You're welcome. And up next, we have Miss Jan Gray. She is with the American Council of the Blind, the Fort Worth chapter. Jan, we're excited to hear from you. Oh, but I believe you're muted. Give me 1 second. Would you mind trying to speak again, Jan? No, we still can't hear you. It shows that you're unmuted on my screen. Let me see. I'm telling you, virtual is the best and worst thing ever. Sometimes I'm with you with my speaker. So let's see. Try one more time. Jan, can you hear me? Can't hear you yet. So what we can do is while we can try to figure that out, maybe if you want to try either calling in or hopping on and then hopping back off, we can go ahead and kind of wait for you to speak and we can go on to somebody else, but we will wait to hear from you to get your audio fixed, okay? All right, so we are going, well, that was just a tease for Jan. Jan's going to come back later and give us a little bit more. So with that, we will have Miss Leah Rowe with the Lighthouse for the Blind Fort Worth be our next speaker.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. We are actually super excited about everything that's going on at Lighthouse for the Blind of Fort Worth right now. We kind of went through a lull period during COVID. A lot of people transitioning jobs, leadership transitioning, and it's really exciting to be a part of the team as we transition forward. I come to the Lighthouse with just a wide variety of nonprofit management underneath my belt, ranging from respite care to child abuse, domestic violence. So kind of bringing a unique twist in our approach and how we're able to truly conquer a wraparound services for the blind and visually impaired. So as the head of client services, we've really started from the ground up. We are super excited to have a fully staffed team, ranging full gamut of services that we're able to offer, from O&M to assistive technology to independent living, Braille, camp. We're super excited to be back in person for summer camp. We actually host 25 kids at an integrated camp that we allow complete, really to do whatever they want, except for give us an hour out of their day to focus on their skills, to build their resume, to build their independent skills, their O&M. And the really neat thing is that through our gracious sponsors, we're able to really give them a toolkit of everything really that they will need moving forward, through backpack, through Shockwave earphones, through assistive technology, really everything that they would need to be able to walk away from camp with that, and how to use everything that's in that as well. This last month, we were actually able to open our Assistive Technology Center. So we are super excited that we have a full-time evaluator that's able to provide that service for the whole North Texas region. In addition to that, having a full-time trainer that we're able to provide those assistive technology trainings as well. We have over 50 devices that we're able to provide evaluations and training on. And really, truly, our evaluator is just biting at the bit, ready to go, and really just to showcase everything that we're able to do. In addition to that, we currently are hosting 5 different support groups, both virtually and in person, to be able to meet a wide range of needs that are identified in the community. And really neat, just this past couple of weeks, we've really been partnering with a lot of our senior living facilities and actually going in-house and providing those assistive technology trainings, enrollment into like the talking book programs, things like that, to do kind of a one-stop shop. Instead of trying to navigate transportation to get them to us, we're taking it directly to them. And also kind of happened this last week, we were super excited. We're partnering with the Tarrant County Public Health Department in the emergency response efforts for the blind, and really making sure that in all efforts in reference to emergency response, we're taking all audiences into consideration and making sure that they're getting access to that information in a timely manner and in a way that is adaptable for everybody. It was really enlightening to have a conversation with them to really just see their point of view, and to also provide some education so that we can truly have a great partnership, but also see some waves and some efforts going on in the community. We also are in the efforts right now of a mural that is going to start in March. And well, towards the end of March, trying to get out of rainy season and the cold season so we can actually get some adherence to the wall. But the really neat thing is that our artist has really came in with a blank canvas and how we can be able to approach the efforts of really Lighthouse in general across the entire state, and really finding a way that we can be inclusive to all audiences. And so with that, her kind of theme for the mural is the 5 senses, and how all of that adapts and encompasses the blind and visually impaired. The neat thing with that is we also are partnering with, I cannot remember the name of the company right now, but the one who manufactured the actual traffic light devices. All of those talking boxes actually are customizable. So we're encompassing that into the mural. I think there's going to be 5 or 6 of those that will be able to repeat and describe the piece of art at that point, and then also have somebody who is visually impaired or blind to describe it in what they think that it's looking like, as well as tactile across the entire board, including all different types of gamuts. All the quotes will have it in Braille underneath as well. And we're trying to partner with somebody right now to be able to encompass the entire mural in brass, so we can be able to have that tactile as well. So, you know, really trying to be as encompass and really be a leader in the sense for that particular piece. And then, of course, we're also in the middle of expansion. We currently are busting at the seams. So we're in the efforts right now. We just met with an architect and we are working on what it's going to be like moving forward. And so the really neat component with that is really a focus for client services. I know for us, we just bend and mold and do what we can in the areas that we have, but to be able to have a dedicated space, an apartment, a store on site, really to be able to have all of that available is really huge. And then on top of that, our goal of having a fitness center on site is kind of just key. We know a lot of legislation is making efforts on making really fitness equipment more accessible across the board. And we want to be a leader in that, in bringing in our gyms and fitness centers across the community and able to kind of show ways to make those accessible and adaptable to meet the needs of the community. So a lot of fun stuff going on at the Lighthouse right now in Fort Worth. And we are super excited just to hear what everybody has going on and different ways that we can partner and continue to meet the need.
Thank you, Leah. Oh my gosh. I mean, y'all are doing so much right now, and it's absolutely fantastic to hear. I'm so excited to hear all the expansion that's going on within the DFW and all these resources. And I mean, it's a testament to all the hard work and everything that we're doing. And it is absolutely fantastic. So Leah, I will be sure to share some information that y'all have going on, because it seems like y'all are some busy bees right now.
And I really think that, unfortunately, COVID kind of stalled a lot of things, but I really think that it was an opportunity just really across the DFW area to allow time to focus on vision and what are we going to do? What impact are we going to make on the area? And that's something that I feel a lot of our organizations are so reactive to the problem that's coming in front of us instead of really to have that planning in place. And I think that really COVID allowed that to happen. And so we're super excited to see what everybody is doing across the region and how we can continue to make an impact on the community.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Leah, for joining us this morning. Let's try to go back to Jan. Jan, are you able to get your audio working? Let's see, I saw you hop back on. Let me see. Jan Gray, are you on the call with us? Okay, it looks like we're still having some issues with audio, so no worries, we can follow back up. Next, we will go with Ted Harper from the Dallas Area Council of the Blind. Ted, we're excited to hear from you.
Thank you for that introduction. You can all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. We always like to check these things. All right. Good morning, everyone. As Julie mentioned, or Holly, Julie. I am the president of the Dallas Area Council of the Blind. That would most people call us DACB. Just a quick note about me. My employment history I've just recently retired from 22 years of working for a nonprofit that provides service-supported housing for individuals and families of low income with a medical criteria. And right now, of course, there's my DACB Did I just hit a button? Can you still hear?
We hear you now. We lost you for a second.
Okay. Of course, the chapter responsibilities here or my volunteer, I guess you can call this my volunteer employment, is that, of course, with ACB as a whole, and I'm on a couple of boards, but that's enough about me. You want to know about what Dallas Area Council of the Blind does. This is, this has been a really great call, folks. It's more than informative. I've looked, since I don't have a recorder on, I look forward to that email with everyone's information. You could say this call has been a real eye opener. Okay, that's my one lame joke for the entire talk. I promise. About us, the organization, or organizationally rather, the Dallas Area Council of the Blind, DACB, is a chapter of the American Council of the Blind of Texas, which is the state affiliate for the American Council of the Blind. So that's our org chart in a nutshell. And I know some of this is real fundamental to some of us on the call, but I just want to make sure it gets out there. Let's see, the purpose of our nonprofit organization, our chapter is also a nonprofit, is to strive for the betterment of our total blind and visually impaired community in the Dallas area. And how we do this is we create a forum that allows the views of the blind and visually impaired community to be expressed, and to raise express and raise or elevate the social, economic, and cultural level of the Dallas area community. And this effort is also reflected in our both the ACBT, the state, and also with ACB. And our website is dallasacb.org. We are on Facebook under the Dallas Area Council of the Blind. And I'll even throw out my telephone number. It rings quite a lot. Please leave a voicemail. It is 469-644-9926. And about some of our programs right now, our real focus, as a chapter, our focus is on our scholarship application program, which is open, and it closes on June 1st every year. And what we do with that, we award one full and part-time individual who is going to be transitioning from high school, is looking for an associate's or a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or a technical program. And that's full-time is $1,000, part-time is $500. You would start your journey to find our more information on our website at dallasacb.org. And there you can download the instructions, the process, everything, or just reach out and contact us. That would, for the scholarship, it's under the student tab on the webpage. It's really easy money. I keep telling people that we don't always, every year, some years we don't get a nibble. And that just really surprises me, because that's how I became involved with the Dallas chapter. When I was a student, someone said, "Hey, we've got a scholarship." And I'm like, well, what do I do? And it really helps the bottom line, because it's designed to help in those areas where you fall through the crack. There are things that other programs, just for whatever reason, funding reasons, they just can't do provide some of the things that a student would need. And, you know, all you need is a 3.0 GPA, and there's some other criteria, but please go to our website and check it out. It is open to anybody in the blind and visually impaired Dallas area. We stretch sometimes, but as long as you live in Dallas or your family lives in Dallas, you can go anywhere you want to. Okay. Our technology grant is another program that's designed to fill in the gray areas. It's, you know, it's determined individually based on the ask, and we've helped people go to a business camp. We've helped over the years, we've helped lots of people with this. You know, it could be anything from a pair of eyeglasses to partial payment for technology. But it really is before I go too far, everyone gets really excited. Oh, a technology grant. And it is exciting. However, it is a pair of last resort because, you know, it is a finite amount of funds and we need to make sure that it is used properly. And like I said, it could be anything from a pair of eyeglasses to a magnification device. Hey, I need, you know, it just really depends on the ask. You know, of course, we would, for example, computers for the blind. We would, if the person wants extras or can't actually pay and isn't connected with any other entity, we would probably help them acquire a computer or a laptop or something they can, you know, we need these electronic devices just to, you know, connect. And this is what this is designed to do. Some of our other programs, well, since we have Envision Dallas on here, we've had the privilege of partnering with Blake and that organization for a couple of years. We financially support the White Cane Exchange Day that happens at the commemoration for White Cane Day. And it's look forward to going back in person. Let's keep all of our fingers crossed. But it's still been going on, and we're very happy to be able to do that. And, you know, we have other internal programs, such as if someone in the blind and visually impaired community hits a financial snag, we won't pay bills, but if you need groceries, you know, it's a limited amount of times you can access that. We can help you with that. We provide holiday baskets for families that can't do it for themselves. We had a darling lady in Flower Mound this year. She was almost 100 years old. And we provided her and her sister of 97 or 98 years old with a holiday meal. And, you know, they don't have to do anything. Somebody comes in and helps them set it up, and it's just delivered. We're happy, very fortunate to be able to do things like that. There's other, I think I've mentioned a lot of we're reorganizing a speakers group. Now, this is a peer-led group designed to educate others on helpful techniques to use when interacting with those who are visually impaired and blind. Now, this chapter has done a lot with the Meadows Foundation, the Nasher, and other people on this call have also been involved in that. And we just try to, at the Meadows Museum, we did train the docent, because who else, you need the blind perspective to be able to tell or educate people on how to describe that huge painting on the wall. And it's interesting. It's not from a fully sighted perspective. It's not always easy. I mean, in this group, yeah, we've all experienced it somehow, but we have prior training on it. But the sighted world is just, it never occurs. For being verbal in a certain way just never occurs. So we're revamping and hope to get this back up. It's, we haven't approached it from a virtual training, but we've historically we've always done it in face-to-face, but we're re-energizing this and hope to have it up and going pretty soon after all of our legislative days. Tis the season, and I don't mean Christmas. And so all of us, a big focus for ACB and all of its chapters and affiliates and special interest groups and supporters. It's just, we're focusing on getting our imperatives out there to our representatives. So as they vote, as they, encouraging them to sign on to things, they just know there's a group of people that are experts in what they're doing and what they're saying. And we'd love to be able to help them with the task at hand. So if I really, off the top of my head, I don't have anything else. Is our wonderful friend in Fort Worth, Jan, available? I don't mean to take over your spot.
Ted, well, this is Julie speaking, and thank you for sharing everything that you did today. I mean, that scholarship that you provide really stuck out to me, and I think that is an incredible resource that y'all offer, and I'm happy to share about that because y'all are doing some great work, and thank you for sharing all that y'all are doing right now.
Sure. Can I add one final thing?
Absolutely.
Speaking of the scholarship, I neglected the Chris Allen, the first vice president of our chapter, and myself will be talking to the entire Dallas, I believe it's just Dallas, TWC counselors, the whole group of them. It's just to let them know we're here. We're an additional resource.
That is fantastic. I'm glad that y'all are able to get in front of them and speak to them because, yes, I mean, they're going to love what y'all have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, let's see, Miss Jan Gray, are you on the call? Are you able to come off of mute? Let's see. Jan, can you hear us? I think we're still having some trouble with your audio this morning. Jan, we can give it a few seconds, and if Jan, we're still having some issues, do not worry. I can include all your information and anything else you'd like me to in the follow-up email. We can give it a few more seconds because I definitely want to hear from you, but I can't seem to hear anything this morning. While we give it a few more minutes to see if Jan can try to get her audio on, maybe try hopping off one more time, Jan, and then hopping back on. So we'll wait a few seconds for you to hop off and then hop back on. But in the meantime, are there any questions?
Julie?
Yes.
Julie, this is Sheila Derrick. I'm from the Fort Worth ACB. If Jan can't get back on, I can do a little bit. It'll be off the cuff and unprepared, but if you want me to.
Yes, actually, Sheila, if you would mind sharing right now while Jan tries to reconnect, that would be fantastic. We would love to hear from you as well.
Okay, thank you. Again, I'm Sheila Derrick. I've been about a 12 or 13 year member of the Fort Worth Council of the Blind. Very much a lot of the same information that Ted Harper presented. We are part of the American Council of the Blind. This is our local chapter. Excuse me, I have allergies this morning. We too have a number of the same programs that Dallas has. We also have a scholarship program started by a long-term member, Ginger Kraft, who passed away several years ago. And we do 1 to 2 scholarships each year for students going on to higher education, be it technical school or junior college or full college. It is not limited to graduating seniors. Anyone who needs to go back to school, especially interested in older individuals who have lost their vision and are now restarting their life. We have provided several scholarships for additional training or higher college level education for those people. So we do a broad range for that. We too are a consumer and advocacy group. As Ted mentioned, it's now ACB's turn for Congressional Hill Leadership Day. So we have plans for visiting our senators, Texas senators, and House of Representatives 2 weeks from now, actually next week, for that. And then we will also be working with our state Congress people. I don't know if anyone has yet noticed, but on February 25th, the bill one more time for Medicare to pay for low vision assistive devices has been reintroduced to the U.S. Congress in both House and Senate as a bipartisan bill in each house. So there is a big push on to contact our local representatives and their national representatives to encourage them to both sponsor and support this bill. So fingers crossed, after 8 previous attempts, one more time, this may go through, which will take some burden off of other agencies providing resources. And that is an area that the Fort Worth chapter hopes to get more involved in the coming year, targeting people, as Ted said, who fall through the cracks in being able to afford assistive technology. Either they're too young for the older individuals who are blind in Texas program, and also are not in a position to do vocational rehab to return to work. If you're 45, there's no governmental help for any assistive devices for you. Same thing if you're an older blind Texan who has received assistive devices. When your CCTV dies, if you've had one, there's no chance to get another unless your vision has changed as well. So that is an area of need that we're trying to get together a program with grants to be able to help fill. We have, as with Dallas, we have a monthly meeting. Ours is on the first Saturday of every month. Due to COVID, they've been by conference call for the last 2 years, but we hope to start meeting in person over the summer. Everyone is welcome to the meeting. You do not have to be a member to come to a meeting. And this past year, we have also joined with the Tarrant County Area Agency on Aging. Can't get all those A's in the right order. To be a resource for them to refer patients or clients, as they call them, who may need help finding resources, especially people who are new to vision loss and vision impairment. And I know there are other things. As I said, I wasn't totally prepared for this, but we too have a presence on Facebook. Fort Worth Council of the Blind is how to find us, and also on our state organization website, acbt.org, and then there'll be a listing for chapters, and we'll have all of our officer contact information listed there. Other than that, does anyone have any questions I can answer?
Sheila, this is Julie, and thank you so much for hopping on and being able to tell us. You did fantastic off the cuff, by the way. So thank you for your surprise speaking debut today. We are happy to hear more about ACB and the scholarships as well. And as Sheila said, if there's any questions for any of our speakers, please feel free to hop off of mute and ask away. If you don't want to hop off of mute, you can throw it in the chat and I can ask. But are there any questions at this time for any of our speakers? Usually when there's no questions, that means that y'all did a phenomenal job of presenting. So that is always a good sign. Just as a reminder, I will be sending out every speaker's information to their organization. So there was no need to take notes or anything, or if you missed a number, just be on a lookout, or not tomorrow, because tomorrow's Sunday, on Monday from an email from me. Oh, Mary is raising her hand. Let me pause, Mary.
Hi, it's Mary Witherspoon. I'm with the Dallas chapter of the ACB, the group. And I just wanted to shout out to Holly. I haven't talked to her since she and I both were docents at Emily's place when it was Esther's place, when it was with the AFB. And I just want to know, do you still have your guide dog? And are you active in the guide dog group?
Good morning. Actually, I have a new guide dog. She is my COVID dog. Her name is Britta, and we graduated in Oregon March 13th of 2020. So I actually met her March 2nd. So we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary. And while I have the floor, there's one major thing I forgot about. NFB has 2 scholarship programs. Our state fund scholarships range from $1,000 to $3,000. The national, they have changed it this year. It's up to 30 students, and all of them will receive $8,000 each, plus a lot of other fun things such as technology and stop the presses, alert the media. We will be having our national convention in person for the first time in 3 years in New Orleans, July 5 through 10. Registration for that is now open at nfb.org.
Thank you for sharing those last pieces of information, Holly, as they were super important ones. So thank you. I'm glad we were able to talk about that. Mary, I'm glad you were able to connect with Holly. I love seeing that, the connection we have here in the Metroplex. And like I said, if something pops up and you didn't have a question today, but you have a question next week, you will have all the contact information to all our speakers today. So please connect with them. Each and every one of them are offering some really great resources and advancements. So please, please, please reach out to any of us. Once again, I just want to say a quick thank you from the Foundation Fighting Blindness, for joining us this morning. Thank you to our speakers for speaking, and thank you for everybody who joined. I know it's Saturday, and I'm happy that everybody was able to give us an hour and a half of their time. If there is no questions or anything else, I can let y'all go about your days. But thank you, and have a great rest of your weekend, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.
Thank you, Julie, very much. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Holly has left the meeting.